Good afternoon, and welcome to the City of Rockville's 40th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration. I am Jeff Billington, the Chair of the Rockville Human Rights Commission. Please join me in thanking both the prelude groups for today's event. In the main hall, we had the Richard Montgomery High School Jazz Band, and here in the auditorium, we had Hajira Ishak on the cello, Kendra Holt on piano, and Queasy Lee, guitarist. The Richard Montgomery High School Jazz Band is made up of students from right here at Richard Montgomery High School and is under the direction of Peter Perry. Hajira Ishak was born in Washington, D.C. and has been playing the cello since she was 7 years old. She has studied the cello under Barbara... Sorry. She studied the cello under Barbara Brown and is a junior at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. Queasy Lee is a pianist, self-taught 6, 7, and 8-string lead guitarist, composer, session musician. He performs classical, gospel, jazz, instrumental, progressive, and experimental music. He has won multiple gold medals in the music composition and musical instrumentation contemporary categories in the NAACP Montgomery County, Maryland branch, AXO competition, and represented the Montgomery County branch at the 2011 national competition held during the NAACP National Convention this past July. Kendra Holt is from Silver Spring. She has 35 years as a professional pianist. She plays jazz and other forms and has worked with Chet Baker, Sam Moore of Sam and Dave, Tito Puento Jr., and Rufus Thomas. And of course, a big thank you to Soul in Motion and Body Moves Contemporary Dance Company, under the direction of Michael Friend, Artistic Director, and Pam Lassiter-Roan, Associate Director of Choreography. The Body Moves Contemporary Dance Company's Director is Kathy Smith. And that's just the start of today's inspirational program. There is much more great entertainment to come, from a Russian dance group to a Washington, D.C. a cappella group. Remarks by the Honorable Mayor of Rockville, Phyllis Marcuccio, our keynote speaker, legendary news anchor and trailblazer J.C. Hayward, and the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Award and the F. Michael Taft Award. So thank you once again for joining us today to honor Dr. King's legacy and to help fulfill his dream. Now, to give the invocation, we have the Reverend Jose Duran from the Centro Vida Pentecostal Church here in Rockville.
Before we ask the Lord's blessing, I want to thank the organizers of this festivity here in Rockville for giving me the opportunity to say the praying with you this morning. Would you be so kind to stand up and ask for the Lord's blessing? Heavenly Father, we come to you asking that you bless this day, this great city, our government, local and federal, and everyone who is gathered here today to give honor a men that work so hard to leave us a legacy that we can enjoy today. We ask wisdom to live in a way that we can honor his dream and enjoy the liberties that we have today. We ask this in your name. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Duran, for a wonderful invocation. And hello, everybody. I'm Commissioner Natalia Fominik. I came from Russia and live here in Rockville. Today, when we are celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, I would like to remind you about what happened in the middle of the 19th century. It was in two countries, in the United States and in Russia. It happened, abolishment of slavery occurred. In the United States, it happened in 1865, 4 years earlier. Before that, the Russian slavery was abolished in Russia. And it was an important step in the struggle for the equal rights. The serfs in Russia were peasants, and they belonged to the landlords. And like the African-American slaves, the serfs created the unique culture, songs, and dances. Today, you will enjoy the performance of the Russian dance ensemble Kalinka from Baltimore. They will give you a snapshot of the dances which style influenced by peasant culture of the 18th and 19th century. The group was founded in 2002 and has earned a reputation as the area's leading presenter of folk character dance in Washington, Baltimore area. Now, Kalinka.
Thank you to Kalinka for that amazing performance. For 40 years, Rockville has honored Dr. King's legacy and inspired in all of us the importance of equality and fairness, and that civil rights are not just reserved for the wealthy or the powerful, but they are for everyone regardless of skin color or religion or education or any other qualifier. And it speaks very highly of this city and the people who have and continue to live here that this event has been taking place since 1972. Only 4 years after Dr. King's assassination and a full 14 years before the creation of the national holiday named for him. In fact, Rockville was doing it 2 years before the state recognized it and 3 years before the county recognized it. What a wonderful place to live, a city that recognized the incredible truths in Dr. King's message so early on and has continued to promote them to this day. I know that I personally just have to walk out my front door of my house in Twin Brook to see how wonderfully diverse and welcoming our city is. On the block I live on, I know for a fact that at least 4 different faiths are practiced and at least 5 ethnicities and races are present there. And you know what? I have never heard anyone on that block arguing about not liking someone because they are white or black or Christian or Jewish or gay or straight. And why is that? Maybe it is because here in Rockville, we have taken Dr. King's dream to heart, and through 40 years of celebrating him and what he stood for, we have created an atmosphere that makes everyone feel welcome. Now, I would like to introduce the members of the Rockville Human Rights Commission, and if they would please stand as I call their names. Debbie Dwyer, David Smith, Natalia Fominica, John Carter, Maria Carvalho, Joy Marunkware, and Theo Anderson, who just recently left the commission but has been a big help in planning this year's event and is helping out here today. The Rockville Human Rights Commission is made up of residents of the city who have been appointed by the mayor and council to aid them in working to protect the rights of individuals to live free from discrimination in Rockville. The commission does this by providing guidance and outreach directed toward eliminating discriminatory practices where they exist within the city in the areas of housing, public accommodation, education, city services and programs, law enforcement, and employment. In addition to planning today's event, the Commission sponsors an annual essay and multimedia contest for students in the 3 public high schools in the city. We run voter registration booths, hold forums on human rights issues, and provide ongoing mitigation services designed to assist people in resolving conflicts that arise in their community. If you want to find out more about the Commission or are interested in joining it, you can visit our booth out in the hallway here or go to the city's website and click on Boards and Commissions to get an expression of interest form or come to City Hall and pick up a form from the City Clerk's office. Now, I would like to introduce the Mayor of Rockville, the Honorable Phyllis Marcuccio.
Thank you, Jeff. Wow, don't you wish you had all that limber ability? Every morning when I wake up, I wish I could do that. Well, good afternoon. I am Phyllis Marcuccio, your mayor. It's a great honor and privilege to be here. I want to know if there's anyone in the audience that's seen all 40 of our presentations. If there's anyone out there, will you please stand up? Have you been here every one of our 40 celebrations? Is there anyone? Wow. That just shows you the staying power, really, of this city. It is a continuous, changing event. And I'm so delighted that we're all here today. It gives us a chance to share in this momentous celebration where every year we are inspired and re-inspired to the power of peace and understanding. It's tremendously exciting and exhilarating for the city and for all of us. Now, I have the job up here of introducing the dignitaries in the audience. And I've tried this before. I don't know how well we'll do, but we have a spotlight guy up there in the booth, and he is going to shine a light on the individual that I call out their name. I want them to stand up, turn around, and give that fellow a chance to put the spotlight on you. All right? Now, you'll have to forgive me because I don't know the order here of who is more important than the other. So bear with me, all right? First, let me introduce to you Ken Reichert, who is representing U.S. Senator Cardin today. Ken? Now, I want all of you to pay good attention. He did it just right, all right? Now we have Jobina C. Brown, representing Van Hollen's office. Very good. Courtney Samuels for Senator Mikulski's office. Then we have Judy Docha, who is on the Montgomery County Board of Education. Judy? All right. We're doing pretty well. Now I'll introduce our City Council. First of all, I have Mark Pershela. Very good. And I know Bridget Newton is there. And our newly elected council member, John Hall. Hey, you folks are doing a wonderful job. You really are. Now, let me see. I know county council member Phil Andrews is with us. Doug Gansler, the Attorney General of the State of Maryland. Delegate Louise Simmons of the State of Maryland for District 17. Boy, you've got this thing down pat. This is great. All right, then I have Delegate Aruna Muller. I don't know what district, but Aruna is here. Thank you. We have Acting City Manager Jenny Kimball for the City of Rockville. Well, let's see. I have 3 lists here. You just have to bear with me. All right. All right. Saeed Hatimi and Jackie Brown, who are with the Heritage Park Cooperative Incorporated. Very good. Wonderful. Thank you all so much. And if I've missed anyone, please excuse me. It's terrific to have you, each and every one, here in the audience today. I want to thank the Human Rights Commission. As you've heard, they've done a marvelous job of putting this together. And where's Janet Kelly? She is the lady who really makes everything happen. Where are you, Janet? All right. I'd like to just make one additional comment about this celebration. You know, what Jeff said about the diversity of Rockville is so true. It's interesting, our 2010 census confirmed it. You know, we have 17% Asian in the city now. We have 14% Latino, almost 8% African American. There's a tremendous variety of other groups that are just so small in percentages we can't count them. But Montgomery College will tell you they have 149 languages represented. That's pretty amazing. My guess is there isn't another city with more diversity and more challenge for understanding cultural differences. And I think we as a city have to be absolutely incredibly proud of our achievement there. We have made this city a home for all. And since I grew up most of my life here, I can tell you it wasn't always this way. Not that we were exclusive, but we didn't actually invite or have a draw for other groups to come here. You know, my father was from Italy, and he spoke with an accent. And I think back, and I think he was the only one in town who spoke with an accent in those days. Well, this city has changed so much that when you don't speak with an accent, you seem like you're a stranger. Anyway, I hope that you will enjoy the performances today and the tributes. Obviously, the power of peace and understanding is the message that I always carry around in my heart from Martin Luther King, Jr. I don't know how many of you have been down to see the new monument, but it's extremely moving. It reminds me that our lives are so entwined, even from the rock we can see something of value. Enjoy the program and stick around for a little reception afterward. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Theo Anderson, and I'm a volunteer with the Human Rights Commission. And it is my pleasure to have the opportunity to introduce to you this next group. Reverb is a Washington area award-winning a cappella vocal group. Reverb will perform in concert on Saturday, March 10th at 4 p.m. at the Alas Performing Arts Center in D.C. as part of Intersections, a New America Arts Festival. For more information, you can visit their website at www.reverbmusic.com. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Reverb.
You know, the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Well, you know, the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. On the prize, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, keep your eyes on the prize, hold on, listen, hold on. Paul and Silas were in jail with no money to go to bail. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on, hold on. I got my hands on the gospel plow. I wouldn't take a breath from the journey now. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Freedom's name is mighty sweet. So one day we're gonna meet her. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Well, I've never been to heaven, but I've been told streets of hell are paved we go. Eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Everybody hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Well, you got to hold on. Hold on. Don't you let nobody turn you around. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. That was Eyes on the Prize, written by Alice Wine, and she was a civil rights activist. The next song we're going to do is People Get Ready, written by the late, great Curtis Mayfield. There's a train coming somewhere. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
There's a train.
Boom, 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 boom.
There's a train.
Boom, 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 boom.
All aboard. There's a train. Get on board. All aboard. There's a train. Get on board. All aboard. There's a train. Get on board. All aboard. Get on board.
Here we go. There's a train coming somewhere down the track. Boom, 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 step in back. 'Cause this train has been running some time. Boom, boom, and it's boom, running on the level. You better man all aboard. All aboard, get on board. All aboard, all aboard, get on board. All aboard, all aboard, get on board. All aboard, get on board. People get ready. This train is moving to Jordan, and it's picking up passengers coast to coast. Great is the key. When it keeps on, Jesus coming. You don't you just thank the Lord. I believe, I believe, I believe. On the word, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. On the word, I believe, is it hopeless sinner, one who would hurt all mankind just to save his own. We should have pity on him, 'cause the chances broken up. There's no hiding place, it's the kingdom's throne. All aboard, you better get on board. All aboard, get on board. You see there's a train coming somewhere down the track. Hey, you people, you ain't ready, you step in the back. 'Cause this train is been on the track. And it's a hard road. Get on board, your fellow man. Get on board. All aboard, get on board.
Say, people get ready. There's a train a-coming. Don't need no ticket. You just get on board. All you need is faith to keep the diesel humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord.
All aboard. Get on board. 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 All aboard.
You better, you need to, you gotta, you better. You better just
Yes, on board.
Oh, we're marching on.
We're marching on
to freedom
to
land.
freedom land.
We're marching on.
We're marching on
to freedom
to
land.
freedom land. Across our strength
From day to
from day to day.
as we walk,
As we walk
the narrow
the
way.
narrow way,
We're going forward.
we're going forward.
Moving forward.
We're going forward.
One day
We're gonna be free.
don't you know we're marching?
We're marching on
to freedom
to
land.
freedom land.
We're marching on.
We're marching on
to freedom
to
land.
freedom land. Across our strength
From day to
from day to
day,
day.
as we walk, the narrow way. We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
We're pressing.
We're going forward.
We're striving.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
Don't stop it.
We're going forward. We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
Oh, no matter.
We're going
what
forward.
stops us now.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward. We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward. We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
One
day we're gonna be free.
Give another round of applause for Reverb. They were fantastic. Thank you. I'm David Smith. I'm the Vice Chair of the Human Rights Commission in Rockville, and I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker this afternoon. In her over 3 decades at Channel 9, J.C. Hayward has been repeatedly rated one of the top news persons in the Washington television area, where she anchors 9 News at Noon. Along with anchoring the noon news, Dr. Hayward has also become Vice President for Media Outreach. In January 2011, Dr. Hayward was inducted into the National Association of Black Journalists Hall of Fame. In June of 1995, she won the prestigious Board of Governors Award. This special local Emmy Award is given for truly outstanding achievement and unique accomplishment of some duration and durability. Dr. Hayward devotes her spare time to various community organizations and projects, serving on the boards of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington, Legal Defense Fund of the NAACP, the Summer Opera Theater Company, the United Black Fund, where she is also a board member, Arena Stage, Hospice Caring, the Perry Center, the Washington Animal Rescue League, The Answer, and most recently, she bequeathed $1 million to Howard University. So without any further ado, Dr. J.C. Hayward.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, David. Isn't this a wonderful program? Are you enjoying it as much as I am? The entertainment is phenomenal. And this is a wonderful, wonderful program. To Madam Mayor and to the distinguished council members of Rockville, to the members of the Human Rights Commission, to the Honorable Van Grack,
to special guests, distinguished friends, and of course students. Good morning and thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that warm introduction, David. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for commemorating one of this country's greatest leaders. Thank you for caring. Thank you for believing. Thank you for knowing that life can be better. The late Dr. Calvin Rolock used to say, "If it is to be, it is up to me." I used to always like that. If it is to be, it is up to me. So why have we assembled in the majesty of this great occasion today? Why? Why have we come here? Why have we taken time out of our busy schedules to be here at this time? This is the day that the Lord hath made, and let us be glad and let us rejoice in it. But more importantly, let us be grateful for the opportunity to honor the work of the humble servant, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. His spirit lives. His memory continues to inspire us. His legend continues to guide us. His words still have the power to comfort and teach us. Oh, we have come here this morning to pay homage to a great person. His legacy binds us together, and today we give honor to his life, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Today we must recommit ourselves to carrying out Dr. King's work and to honor the values that were at the center of his life: tolerance, nonviolence, compassion, love, and above all, justice. Throughout his life, even in times of difficulty and despair, of anger and anguish, Dr. King kept faith with these values. And so now we must have faith in their power, not only to heal fresh wounds and long-standing divisions, but also to fuel tomorrow's progress. Living the dream today. What does this mean? How do we do it? I think one of the first things that we must do is remember. We must remember. Remember past challenges. Remember past hurts. Remember conflicts endured by those who came before us. Remember your own past, because therein lies the person that you are today. I'm reminded of a quote from Louisa May Alcott. "I am not afraid of the storms, for I am learning to sail my ship." Those words exemplify all that Dr. King stood for. Knowing the relentless criticism he would undergo, not only for those different from him, but also the very people that he stood in the gap defending. Standing up to continuous beatings, threats against his life and his family. Enduring prison sentences, all for the right to be called equal. We know about the inhumane treatment. We know about the bloodshed and the sacrifices and the attack dogs and the fire hoses and the determination that was exhibited for the right to have a drink of water, a sandwich at a local restaurant, and from those from all walks of life. The sacrifices really aren't for those who lost their lives in the struggle. The sacrifices for those who came after. And so what we do today and the lessons that we are learning are not for our benefit, but for those who will follow after us. So we must remember. And next, we must act. Dr. King acted on what he believed were injustices. In a letter from a Birmingham, Alabama jail, Dr. King wrote to fellow clergymen, "I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." He acted as the sounding voice in a time when African Americans were not heard. His actions could move mountains and teach us to act in defense of what we believed is right. Are you acting in defense of what you believe is right? When you see a wrong, what do? If you are a student and you see someone being bullied, what do? Do you act in defense of what is right? Do you step in, or do you just ignore it? Are you afraid, or are you just weak? Dr. King said that the true stature of man is not how he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but how he stands in times of challenge and controversy. Next, we have to celebrate. We must celebrate. We have to celebrate the past from which we come and the future ahead. We have to celebrate those who realized that change was needed, and despite the seeming unsurmountable odds, banded together to create a legacy lasting beyond their lifetime. Celebrate that you are in a position to help. You're in a position to make a difference, and you can positively affect another person's life. Even when Dr. King realized that his life was coming to an end, celebration was on his mind. He celebrated that his children and many like them would have a better life because he chose to speak on their behalf. He chose to stand where others would not. He chose to go where others would not. He chose to see what others were afraid of. And he chose to celebrate the outcome before it could be seen. Celebrate the fact that regardless of your status, you are free. You're free to dream. You're free to meditate. You're free to pray. You are free to think. And these freedoms can seem so very small to us, and we sometimes take them for granted, not realizing how many are dying right now for those very same privileges. So what are you going to do to change your neighborhood? What are you going to do to change your community? What kind of legacy are you going to leave behind? And when you are gone, will anyone ever realize that you were actually here? Dr. King accomplished more in his 39 years than most of us will be able to accomplish in a century. During his 13 years of public service, Dr. King cried out with a voice that our nation was forced to hear. I really wish he could be here today. I wish he could see the monument that's not too far from here on our National Mall, within sight of a monument to our nation's first president and its great emancipator. I wish Dr. King could see. I wish he could be here to see the America that he helped to shape. I wish Dr. King could see the goodwill and the great works that he still inspires. Today, we must look upon our nation as Dr. King did, seeing both its history of imperfection and its future promise, working on both the weaknesses and its strengths, appreciating both its challenges and its infinite opportunity. To be sure, we still have problems to solve, and we have obstacles to overcome. We have not reached the end of the road that Dr. King said we must travel. And we have a dream that still has not been fully realized. But we also have cause for optimism. We have signs of encouragement all around us. Because of Dr. King, we do know progress is possible. Miracles are possible. And here in America, sweeping changes in righteousness is possible. It is not too audacious, and it is not too ambitious. 40 years ago, February 21st, I arrived at Channel 9 and became, several months after that, the first female anchor in Washington, D.C. It was because of Dr. King's dream. It was because of his hope and his desire and his fight. And now you turn the television on to any station, and there are women all over the television sets. They're not only anchoring, they're doing sports, they're doing business, they're fulfilling all roles. But 40 years ago, it wasn't that way. 51 years ago, President John F. Kennedy ended his inaugural address by noting that on this earth, God's work must truly be our own. Know this: each of us has the power, the capacity to improve the world around us. Know this also: each of us has the responsibility, the duty to do so. Each of us must act. No matter what form our services take, the work of helping one another and of improving the world that we share always begins the same way. It should be and will be an act of love, with an act of hope, and with an act of faith. And so, as we have assembled here on the majesty of this occasion, I challenge you. I challenge you today to live the dream each day as though it is your last day. Remember that yesterday is history. Let's not forget it, but let's not be shackled by it. And tomorrow, well, tomorrow is a mystery. Therefore, we should prepare for it. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about the trials that it will bring. And today, well, today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. Enjoy it in appreciation of each other. Before I leave, I'd like to share a story with you, and I hope that if nothing else, you will take these words with you when you leave today. The story is called The Gingham Dress. A lady in a faded gingham dress and her husband, dressed in an old suit, stepped off the train in Boston, and walked timidly, without an appointment, into the Harvard University president's outer office. The secretary could tell in a moment that such backwoods country hicks had no business at Harvard and probably didn't even deserve to be in Cambridge. "We'd like to see the president," the man said softly. "He'll be busy all day," the secretary snapped. "We'll wait," the lady replied. Well, for hours the secretary ignored them, hoping that the couple would finally become discouraged and just go away. Well, they didn't. The secretary grew frustrated and finally decided to disturb the president, even though this was a chore that she always regretted. "Maybe if you would see them for a few minutes, they'll leave," she said to him. Well, he sighed in exasperation, and he nodded. Someone of his importance obviously didn't have the time to spend with them, and he detested gingham dresses and homespun suits cluttering up his outer office. The president's stern face, and with dignity, strutted toward the couple. The lady said to him, "We had a son who attended Harvard for about 1 year. He loved Harvard. He was happy here. But about a year ago, he was accidentally killed. My husband and I would like to erect a memorial to him somewhere on the campus." The president was not touched. He was actually shocked. "Madam," he said gruffly, "we can't put up a statue for every person who attended Harvard and died. If we did, this place would look like a cemetery." Oh, no, the lady quickly explained. We don't want to erect a statue. We thought we would like to give a building to Harvard. Well, the president rolled his eyes. He glanced at the gingham dress and the homespun suit, and then he exclaimed, "A building? Do you have any earthly idea how much a building costs? We have over $7.5 million in the physical buildings here at Harvard." For a moment, the lady was silent. The president was pleased. Maybe he could get rid of them now. The lady turned to her husband and she said quietly, "Is that all it costs to start a university? Why don't we just start our own?" Her husband nodded. The president's face wilted in confusion and bewilderment. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Leland Stanford got up, walked out the door, traveled to Palo Alto, California, where they established the university that bears their name, Stanford University, a monument and a memorial to a son that Harvard University no longer cared about. True story from Malcolm Forbes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hayward. We are honored that you would join us on the 40th anniversary of the Rockville. Thank you for the Rockville recognition of Dr. King's legacy, and thank you for your inspiring and very, very thoughtful words. It is now my pleasure to introduce Rock Terrace School. They are located here in Rockville, and they are a very unique school. They serve students from the ages of 11 through 21. Though they are a Montgomery County public school, Rock Terrace is the only school which is structured with a middle school component, which serves students ages 11 through 14, a high school component, which serves students age 15 through 17, and then an upper school component, which serves students age 18 through 21. All of the students participate in the Alternative Maryland State Assessment and graduate with a certificate. The school's vision is to provide students with a state-of-the-art program that will promote productive citizenship and vocational success. And music is one of the many specialized classes offered to help the students realize this vision. Rock Terrace High School.
The world must come together as one. There were people dying. It's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on pretending day by day. That's the one. So we'll soon make a change. Cause we're great family. And the truth, you know love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones that make a brighter day. And let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own life. It's true to make a better day. Just you and me. Check it out. You can even send them your heart. Hey. So that know someone cares. Someone cares. And their life will be stronger and free. As God has shown us, by turning stones to bread, so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. A choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. Saving our own lives. Just you and me. Just you and me. When you're down and out, yeah. There seems no hope at all. But if you just believe, there's nowhere we can fall. Come on. Let us realize that a change only come when we everybody stand together as one. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. The choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. Trying to make a better day. Just you and me. Woo! We are the world. We are children. The ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. The choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. Trying to make a better day. Just you and me. We are the children. We are the ones that make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Love you all. Thank you for joining.
That was fantastic. Give me another round of applause. Thank you. In this next section, we'll hear from individuals who've been inspired by Dr. King. We will be given the opportunity to reflect on the past, looking at our past as a community and a country through the eyes of someone who's experienced that history. We will also learn from two young people who've been motivated by the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our future success in continuing to further Dr. King's mission rests in their hands. Finally, an interpretive dance will be presented, which will call upon us to consider the challenges of leadership. As a community, we have much to be proud of on how far we have come to living up to the ideals of brother and sisterhood, equality, freedom, and peace that were important to Dr. King. But we must never forget the struggles and challenges that we have faced even in Rockville, for they give us context and provide us with fortitude to continue our work. Racism has touched Rockville, even within the lifetime of many in this auditorium. Dr. King once said, "We are not makers of history, we are made by history." History has shaped our actions and will provide us with direction for the future. The Montgomery Sentinel reported in its August 18, 1966 edition that the city was visited by the Ku Klux Klan. The article titled, "Klansmen Strut in Rockville" reads, "A handful of walkie-talkie-equipped Ku Klux Klan members rode into Rockville last Saturday for a brief comic opera appearance. Then they rode away, but not before declaring portentously, 'We'll be back.' Well, as a community, we've always been back to counter the messages and climate of intolerance and hatred that was too often part of that era. Our own city, forefathers and mothers, worked steadfastly to make this community one where the vile message of race hatred would never take root." We will now hear from Mr. France Wilson, a 40-year resident of Rockville, who will reflect upon his own experiences and the experiences of our community in promoting racial justice. We will then hear from Abraham Adru, an international student from Germany with the AFS Student Exchange Program and currently at Montgomery Blair High School, who will talk about his experiences living and learning in our community. And then from Vanya Rivas, a student at Richard Montgomery High School and a member of the Unity and Diversity Group that our commission has sponsored. She will reflect on her experiences as a Latina young woman living in Rockville. Finally, in a reflective artistic piece, Siri Parker will perform an interpretive dance that focuses on the challenges of leadership. While she is performing, consider your own role as a leader. From where do you draw your strength? Your family? Your friends? Dr. King drew much from his faith in his community. Siri's dance will invoke a leader dealing with the challenges ahead, continuing her path and seeking a bright tomorrow. The dance was choreographed by Kashi Torah. Without further ado, Mr. Wilson.
With Janet Kelly's permission, I'm going to deviate just a little bit from my prepared remarks. If you read your Washington Post this morning, on page A14, you will see, and I know you can't see it from here, a picture of a statue of Dr. King. And 3 people are standing in front of it. And the picture itself is important, but the text beneath it is what really sort of sets the stage for my remarks. In fact, once I read the text, I may think of closing my speech. It says, "A place in history and in Washington. For the first time in our country's history, the mall is now more diversified and looking more like America. To have Dr. King, to have a preacher from Alabama situated between the Jefferson and the Lincoln memorials tells a compelling story of how great this country is. There to have situated between a slave owner and a man who freed the slave is a descendant of slave and a testimony to the country's greatness." When you visit the Martin Luther King Memorial located in Washington's Potomac Park, there's a beautifully sculpted marble wall that its founders have named the inscription wall. In one inscription, dated December the 5th, 1955, Montgomery, Alabama, reads as follows: "We here in Montgomery are determined to work and fight until justice runs down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream." 10 years later, after December 1955, on March the 7th, 1965, the day of the infamous Bloody Sunday, my family and I were living in Montgomery, where I was working as the director of the Cleveland Avenue Branch YMCA. You remember that Bloody Sunday was one of the civil rights movement's history-changing events, witnessed on television around the world and shocked the consciousness of the nation. On that Sunday, an estimated 600 African-American citizens of Selma, Alabama, attempted to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge to get into the highway to come into Montgomery. They had gone just 6 blocks, only to be attacked by the state troopers with bullet clubs and tear gas, driving them back into Selma. On March 21st, 2 weeks later, with federal funding in place, an estimated 3,200 marchers began the 50-mile walk to Montgomery. People came from all over the world into Montgomery by cars, buses, and air. And if you can imagine a city where there were no freeways, automobiles, back-to-back, bumper-to-bumper coming into the city. There was something like 13 chartered airplanes that were at the airport at the time, bringing people in to join the march. On that Sunday, along with many other volunteers, I used my station wagon to meet people at the airport and the bus station to carry them out to join the marchers as they approached Montgomery. By the time the march reached Montgomery, there were estimated 25,000 people. That march is now known as the Selma to Montgomery Voting Rights March. Also at that time, Dr. King was a member of the board of directors of the Montgomery Improvement Association, better known as the MIA. And you will remember that this is the organization that orchestrated the Montgomery bus boycott. When the MIA board from time to time met in my building and Dr. King passed through, we exchanged a few words, nothing more than just casual comments. And at one time, when on flight from Montgomery to Atlanta, I sat across the aisle from him, and we exchanged a few words there. When I visited the King Memorial this summer, I had no idea that the man whom I so casually knew would be memorialized in the nation's capital on the same grounds with 4 of the America's presidents. My grandchildren always describe exciting things as being awesome, and I can only describe that visit of mine as beyond awesome. To even think that a time would come when there would be 730 streets in the country named after Dr. King. There are 39 states that have streets and highways bearing his name. There are 9 foreign countries that have memorialized Dr. King's with statues and parks. And in the background that you see behind the number 9 is a famous photo that was seen on television around the world the day that Dr. King was arrested and imprisoned in the Birmingham jail. There are 123 public and private schools in the United States named after Dr. King. And symbolic of the progress of the integration of schools in our own backyard, in 1920, and that's 92 years ago, we had an African-American elementary school named here in Rockville. It was called the Rockville Colored School. Now let's fast forward 92 years, and there we have the multi-million-dollar Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School on Wisteria Drive in Germantown. Yes. For you history students out there and you young people who are getting ready to do your dissertations, that is a dissertation unto itself, to do a project that would log the interest and information about the history of integrating the schools in Montgomery County, Maryland. Today's celebration is also a milestone unto itself, designed to showcase the Rockville community's diversity. Dr. King never visited or delivered a speech in Montgomery, although there have been very serious, hard-nosed policy confrontations involving African Americans and city and county officials over the integration of public facilities, especially the schools. There have been no murders, there have been no bombings, no incidences of police brutality. Dr. King's impact on Rockville and Montgomery County is notable more for the hard work and sacrifices of its citizens who shared his belief in nonviolence as a way of achieving freedom and the rights of all Americans, regardless of nationality, ethnicity, or race. I'm going to do something here and hope that in no way, by not calling some names, I would offend anyone. But I feel very strongly that we talk about the past and present. There are some people in this city whose names are worth mentioning, whether or not they are alive or whether they are deceased. But it's because of the role that they played in shaping the human relations here in Rockville. There was Mrs. Edith Thornton, the president of the NAACP years ago. There was Dr. Lewis Monk, first African-American principal of an integrated school. And ladies and gentlemen, that school was named Rock Terrace. And you just heard the school's choir's rendition of We Are the World. That really fits right into what the program is all about today. There's a few more. There's the Reverend Al Wyndham and the Reverend Mansfield Casey Caseman, who led the community ministries of Rockville for several years. These men spearheaded the City of Rockville's decision to recognize and celebrate the birthday of Martin Luther King. And that is what we are doing today for the 40th consecutive time. There are a few others, and I certainly cannot name them all. Those of you who were here at the time remember Jim Moon, Leon Brown, Warren Crutchfield, Kermit McGrath Reed, William Wood, Alfonso Lee, George T. Johnson. I'm told here that George T. Johnson had a place up there near the square called Mr. T's. There's Margaret Jones, William Gibbs. There's a street here. There's a street here in Rockville named after Mr. Gibbs. There's Tom Meads, Lorenzo Ricks, and this name I'm going to call now, the lady had told me not to call it, but I'm going to call it anyway because I think it deserves mention, and that's Miss Anita Powell. There's one more, and I'll be through, and that's the name of Janet Kelly. I don't know her official title, but Janet Kelly is 4 persons. She's not one person. She knows how to get a whole lot of things done, and she stays on top of it all. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us here today should be deeply indebted to the pioneers in Selma, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, and Rockville, those past and present, and named or unnamed, for all they have done to make Rockville a better place in Montgomery County to live. Thank you so much.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to me to talk today in front of you and to share with you my views of the great Martin Luther King. As Mr. Smith already said, my name is Abram Hidru, and I am an AFS exchange student from Germany. I know that I don't look really German, but I am German. My parents were both refugees from Eritrea and found a new home in Germany. So I am an Afro-German. For me, it has always been hard to think about what is my real home. Because in Germany, I always had to integrate. Because I was different. And when I would go back to Eritrea, I had to integrate too, because I grew up in Europe. But then I realized that it doesn't matter where you grow up or what nationality you are. It is more important who you are. And I think that Martin Luther King helped me a lot to find this out, to find out who I am. And when you ask me today where I am from, I would say I'm a world citizen. So, who was Martin Luther King Jr.? That was always the question I asked me as a little boy. Sure, I know his famous I Have a Dream speech, but I didn't know why he fought for the black rights. As I grew up, I researched who this man was and learned a lot what he did. And I liked what he did and saw him as one of the important persons in the 20th century. I knew the phrase, I have a dream, but I never knew the context. And the reason is why I didn't know why he fought for the black rights was that I grew up in Europe at the time where everybody respects each other and everybody is equal. And I believe it is to our generation and our kids' generation that Martin Luther King's work is important and lasting. And now, we will never forget what he changed with his work to the great new Martin Luther King monument at the mall. I had the pleasure to be at the audience at the inauguration from this monument. And this event brought all kinds of people together who celebrate the accomplishment of Martin Luther King for America today. And this was one of the moments I will never forget in my life. I was there when the first non-president was to be honored by a monument at the National Mall. When I arrived 5 months ago here in the US, I didn't know how this year would be for me. I was concerned about how people would react when they saw me, a black German. I arrived here in the DC area and looked around me, and I saw so many people from different countries. My first day of school, I was so shocked. I saw so many students with different skin colors and different nationalities, and no one asked me where I'm from, and let me a part of their groups, and treated me like an American. And I had this feeling that they don't care where I was from, or about what for accent I have, or what is my skin color. They only cared what kind of person I am. And I think that Martin Luther King dream, and I think that Martin Luther King dream is alive, and that we're living it today. Thank you.
Every year, I was something new. Some years, I was the Asian girl with the neon blue hair. Others, I was the Hispanic girl with the guitar. Living in the city of Rockville for the past 17 years, I've heard a variety of these statements on numerous occasions. But that's really all there was to it. Asian, Latino, Hispanic. 50-some years ago, these words would have been an insult, a way to degrade someone, or an excuse to hurt someone who is different. Today, though, they are simply adjectives. What was a weapon a long time ago has been reduced to everyday words. I'm happy to say that never once was I targeted for being something different. In fact, I'm quite proud to be called either of these words, for though in a general manner they describe my personal heritage. Many years ago, schools like mine would have refused to read the story of, say, how a Bolivian man made up a difference in a struggling school in the West, or how an African-American woman stood up for what she believed in by sitting. Today, we've grown to accept people as they are, and it's all thanks to the man we celebrate here today, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Yes, the United States has gone a long way in social reform. Now, however, there are different social issues that lie outside the racial circle. Unequal treatment still runs rampant in the other sectors of society. As today's generation, the duty has fallen to us to continue his message, for it still applies to more than just one problem. We are all diverse in more ways than one. There isn't anything we can do about it except to revel in it and unite ourselves. We need to encourage ourselves, remind ourselves to be tolerant of each other, and when someone makes a hurtful statement, we perhaps take the moment to educate them and let them be aware of what they said, but then simply move on. After all, we have bigger fish to fry together.
where I'm from, after you have a presentation like that, you kind of say, mm-hmm. It is my distinct honor and pleasure this afternoon to have the opportunity to present to you several awards. I'm going to be doing two, and then later I'm going to ask the mayor to come up and present the F. Michael Taft Award. However, I have the opportunity to present to you this afternoon the Martin Luther King Student Award, the one in which we award a student that sort of embodies the spirit of the award itself through their actions and accomplishments. Inside your bulletins that you received, there is the nominees that we have. There's all of their information and what they've done. I'm going to take the opportunity first to tell you about the two awards I'm going to present, or actually I'll tell you about all of them, and then I'm going to read the list of nominees, and then I'm going to tell you who won the award. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Award is to honor the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This award recognizes the outstanding efforts of a high school student in Rockville who has helped advance the goals and dreams of Dr. King, either in accordance in an academic setting or within the community. Later on, the mayor will come up and present the F. Michael Taft Award, and this award honors the late Michael F. Taft, former chair of the Rockville Human Rights Commission, and is dedicated to a human rights activist. This award recognizes the exemplary efforts of individuals or groups within the city who act to reduce the barriers that restrain the full participation of those with disabilities. And then the last award I'm going to do is the Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Award, but it's the Multimedia Award. And in this award, one of the students have the opportunity to answer one of 4 questions that was presented to them by the Human Rights Commission, and they have the opportunity to answer this award in any media mechanism, whether it's writing or art, many different forms that they choose to express how they're going to answer that particular question, or one of 4 of those questions. The nominees for the Martin Luther King Student Award are, and if you're in the audience, I'd please ask that you stand and be recognized. The nominees are Michelle Barrett, Raheem Henry, Fahilsa Kastani, Ching Yu Liu, Gahel Na Hampo, Andre Okeke, or Genesis Porkin, and Ashley M. Troutman. Those are our nominees, and I will ask you early for my forgiveness if I mispronounce your names, but thank you all so much. Now I want to focus on the 2012 Martin Luther King Youth Award recipient. This recipient, as an excellent scholar in Rockville High School baccalaureate program, exhibited personal qualities that reflect the teaching of Dr. King. She's always looking for ways to unify people. One of the projects that this individual did is she accepted the leadership in promoting the Save Darfur project, where she raised money and public awareness to the genocide in Sudan. She has shown awareness of global need and to embrace all cultures. She signed up and hosted an exchange student from Spain. She is currently hosting an event at her school, that partners with Tom's Shoes to give shoes to less fortunate children and youth around the world. Her involvement with these projects reflect her passion for all people of all races and highlights the visions of Dr. King. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Martin Luther King Youth Award winner is Jessica T. Smith. 12th grader from Rockville High School. Jessica, on behalf of the Human Rights Commission, it is my pleasure to present you with this award. And for the benefit of the audience, I want to read what this award says. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Let me read it right off the plaque. That's kind of long. The advancement of the goals and dreams of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is fundamental to strengthening our society and promoting unity through diversity. This effort must begin with you. Presented by the Mayor and Council and the Human Rights Commission, in recognition of exemplary efforts to promote the message of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for youth in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica T. Smith.
I would like to thank the City of Rockville for this Dr. Martin Luther King Youth Junior Award. Dr. Martin Luther King was and continues to be an inspiration to many worldwide. I try to follow his examples by serving others. As I accept this award today and moving toward the future, I will continue to strive to serve others in my school, community, and abroad. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. At this time, I would ask the Honorable Mayor, Phyllis Marcuccio, to please come up, and she will present the F. Michael Taft Award.
Thank you. You're welcome. Another opportunity. This is wonderful. I want to make a point here that there were two nominees, I'm not sure if they're on the screen, of Sharon Friedman and Marion Vessels, who were also nominees, and they are not in the audience, I understand, today. Could we have an applause for them, just for nominees? And my congratulations to all of the students who were recognized. Let you know that your certificates will be on the table near the stage down here later on, so don't go away. Now, I have the honor, a tremendous honor today, to recognize one of our community who is especially important to me as well as to you. We're into telling stories today. Let me tell you a little story about Mr. Steve Van Grack, the recipient of the Taft Award. There was a student at Richard Montgomery High School who was in a tremendous amount of trouble, an African-American student, and he was arrested by the police. Steve Van Grack represented him pro bono and managed to get him acquitted. That young man went into the Marine Corps, and he recently was made a colonel in the United States Marines. The beauty of this story is that when this young man received his promotion, at that ceremony, he honored Steve Van Grack for changing his life. I wonder if Steve Van Grack won't join us right now. I have a few more things I want to say about him before he gets his plaque. While he's making his way up here, you may all know him, but he has a wonderful family. I understand he has 3 sons, a pair of twins. 2 of those sons, well, all 3 of them are attorneys. Two of them went to Harvard. I hate to say, went to Harvard. I believe his wife and his sons are in the audience. I wonder if you wouldn't stand, please. Let's see if we can get you on camera. Well, there's a fourth member there, Steve. Who is it?
They're all Richard Montgomery graduates.
They're all Richard Montgomery graduates. Go Rockets! Oh, that's tremendous. There's another couple of little things I'd like to tell you. Steve was instrumental in bringing the Just Say No to Drugs to Rockville. That campaign was big all over the country, but we made a special effort because of him. He has reached out to citizens all over this city in so many, many ways. And I have to say personally, when I became mayor, he reached out to me. And that was very special. It's a very difficult thing for someone to open their hearts essentially to you when they don't know you very well. And Steve made me feel special. And I will always be grateful to him for that. I think most of you have seen, if you watch Channel 11 at all, you have seen the continuous rundown on our previous mayors. And when you look at that collection, which is absolutely wonderful, you will see that one of them, of course, is Steve Van Grack. And it tells a great deal about this gentleman. He has so many wonderful hobbies and wonderful gifts. You know, I learned the other day that our city attorney actually was an intern in his office early on in her career. So he's been involved with the city for as long as I can remember. He is one special individual. Now, you know, in the program, you've got this text that has been written to explain why he is the winner of the Taft Award this year. I will read it to you. You can read it on your own pleasure later. But because of this special event and afterward, I'd like him to make a few remarks. This is to Steve Van Grack, recipient of the F. Michael Taft Award. Providing services for those whose rights have been ignored or unrecognized, Steve Van Grack uses his knowledge of the law to help anyone, young or old, physically or mentally disabled, abused and or neglected. He is directly responsible for opening up new opportunities for a number of the Montgomery County Public Schools student athletes with learning disabilities. Wasn't Rock Terrace incredible? Mr. Van Grack represents the students on a reduced fee or pro bono basis. Because of his work, the Montgomery County Public Schools had to change their policy due to the lack of reasonable accommodations for student athletes. Mr. Van Grack has not only assisted students, but in 1999, he was instrumental in changing the advertising employment opportunities for people with mental impairments, and in 2005, creating sidewalks in a neighborhood where a blind woman was forced to walk her children to school in the streets. For 6 years, Mr. Van Grack served as chair of the County March of Dimes Walk America. Since 2010, he has served in several capacities for the Columbia Lighthouse for the Blind. He continues his efforts in the community and is currently a member of the Board of Hospice Caring. As former mayor of the City of Rockville, Mr. Van Grack had the opportunity to appoint F. Michael Taft as chair of the Human Rights Commission and supported his efforts to create sensitivity and awareness training. Thank you, Mr. Van Grack. Well, I will do my best to read this in this light. This is from the City of Rockville, F. Michael Taft Award. The elimination of discrimination against individuals with disabilities and the achievement of equal access to all persons are fundamental to the respect and dignity of every member of our society. presented by the Mayor and Council and the Human Rights Commission in recognition of exemplary efforts to attain the full inclusion of persons with disabilities in our community. To Steve Van Grack, January 16, 2012. Congratulations. Yeah. Please, take the podium.
Well, you've heard enough about me. I just want to say very briefly thank you to a few people. I first want to thank my family. As all of us know, our ability to give to our community, our city, our country emanates from our family. And I've been honored and thrilled to have a loving, wonderful family, which is the source of that which I give. I want to thank a lovely lady, her name is Helen Hennigan, for nominating me for this award. Helen Hennigan was clerk of the city for mayors Hannah, Freeland, Hovsepian, Van Grack, and Duncan. She is one of the pillars of this city. She truly is. She has served on more boards and commissions than anyone that I know in the city. She is one of the reasons we are an all-America city. Helen Hennigan, thank you so much. You taught me to love this city. I want to thank the Human Rights Commission. We have such a great commission here. It is wonderful in this day and age where we are thankful for what our government does. We are so often critical of our city, county, state, and federal governments, but the City of Rockville is so proud of the accomplishments of the Human Rights Commission. You have served a wonderful purpose. I am truly honored by receiving this award, and I will share with you a quick story. When Janet Kelly called me to tell me I had won this award, I told her I had goosebumps, and that's how much it meant to me. I am so appreciative. Thank you doesn't fully convey the meaning. Goosebumps do. And I must thank F. Michael Taft. He has family members here today. I knew Mike Taft before I became to serve the City of Rockville. Mike Taft was a quadriplegic, and he was a person who did not want any extra consideration for his disability. And I would not have appointed him for his disability. He was appointed because of who he was and what he did for the city, and he went on to be one of the great leaders of the city, and that is another reason why we have this All-America City. Thank you, Michael Taft, and your family members who are here. And then finally, and this is truly the most important, thank you. The City of Rockville is not just an all-American city. It is a great city because of the people in the city. And it is truly not only one of the great cities in this county or in this state, in this country, in this world. This is a great place to live. I am proud to be a cheerleader for this city. Thank all of you. You are the great strength of the city. Thank you so very much.
We're going to do a couple of pictures. Before I do that, I need to get a couple more folks up here so that we can get all the pictures taken accordingly, and I think I'll orchestrate this dance appropriately. The last award that I talked about that I was going to recognize the recipients of is the Multimedia Award. The third place runner-up, and if she is in the audience, is Rylan Sorini. If you are here, could you please come up? There she is. As she's making her way to the stage, the second place winner was Yi Jessica Lee. If you are here, can you please come up? Go right on the other side of the mayor because you guys are going to squeeze in and take this picture. And each of them is receiving a certificate for their efforts. Unfortunately, the first place winner, okay, go right over, you're welcome. The first place winner, who is not here today, unfortunately, but I want to recognize this person, and I can't tell on the name, so I will just say this person. It's Yan Hong Liu, and that is the winner of the Multimedia Contest Award. If you can, in absence, give that person a hand. I would like to congratulate all the winners and thank you, Mayor, for helping to make this award presentation possible. It's picture time. So whomever's taking the pictures, y'all squeeze together, and there you go. Are you finished? Okay. Thank you all very much. Oh, absolutely. I'm done? Okay, thank you. We would like to also recognize the Taft family. If you could please stand. There they are. At this time, we are now going to have the opportunity to hear the melodic and enchanting sounds of a wonderful group known as Soulphrodisiac.
I was born by a river in a little old tent. Oh, and just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Ah, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the clouds. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Yeah. First I went to my mother. I asked my mother, I said, help me please. She turned me down. I went to my brother. I said, brother, I'm down on my knees. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the clouds. It's been a long, I'm coming, but I know change is gonna come. Ah, yes, it will. Come on. You see, first I went to my mother. I asked my mother, I said, Mother, help me please. And when she turned me down, I went to my brother. I said, brother, I'm down on my knees. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid, see, I said I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the clouds. It's been a long time coming, but change gonna come. Change gonna come someday, 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 someday. Change gonna come. I know someday change gonna come. Change is gonna come. Change is gonna come. Change is gonna come. Change is gonna come. Change gonna come. Someday, someday, someday. Change gonna come. Yeah. Happy celebration, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We want everybody to get up on this next number. It's a celebration, y'all. Come on now. If you know it, sing along. Everyone is feeling pretty. It's hotter than July. And though the world is full of problems, couldn't stop us even if they tried. From the park I hear rhythm. Molly's hot on the bar. Tonight there's a celebration on the corner at the end of the block. I didn't know you We'll be jumping until the break of dawn. 'Cause nobody ever told me that you will be jumping until the break of dawn. We'll be jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping, jump on. You want us to join the fighting? Well, our answer today is to let all our worries, like the breeze through our fingers, slip away. Peace has come to Zimbabwe. It was right on the one. Tonight there's a celebration, 'cause we only just begun. I didn't know you would be jumping until the break of dawn. 'Cause nobody ever told me that you would be jumping until the break of dawn. I got to tell you that you will be jumping until the break of dawn. We'll be jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping, jump on. You ask me, am I happy? Well, as a matter of fact, I can say that I'm ecstatic, 'cause we all just made a pact. We've agreed to get together, join as children in jive. Tonight there's a celebration, 'cause we only just begun. I didn't know you would be jumping until the break of dawn. 'Cause nobody ever told me that you would be jumping until the break of dawn. I got to tell you that you would be jumping until the break of dawn. I got to tell you that you we'll be jumping until the master of dawn. Oh, I got to tell ya, I got to tell ya, I got to tell ya, I got to tell you that you, oh, we must be jamming, we must be jamming, we must be jamming. We'll be jamming and jamming and jamming and jamming, jam on. Have a great rest of the day, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Soulful Diziak. Marty Bouchard on drums, Eric Bouchard on bass, Samir Millay on guitar, and Denise Henderson on vocals. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on our 40th annual Martin Luther King Day celebration. We could not do this without you. Thank you so very, very much. Just a few other thank yous. Thank you to our interpretation from Star Signs Interpreting. Thank you. Thank you to the city staff and the staff here at Richard Montgomery High School for helping us put this on. Thank you for the many, many student volunteers who served as your ushers. They served as your greeters. They helped us set up this event. Thank you again to Dr. J.C. Hayward for being our keynote speaker. We're very honored you were here today with us, and we thank you. We found you to be very inspiring. And ladies and gentlemen, in the lobby, speaking of inspiring, there are a number of tables set up by volunteer organizations here in the community. We hope today inspires you to volunteer in your community. There's Habitat for Humanity, Unity and Diversity, the National Center for Children and Families, Mansfield Caseman, Manna Foods, Bike for the World and the Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless. So please consider stopping there today and donating some of your time to them. And before we leave for our benediction today, it is my honor to introduce to you Rabbi David Schneier.
If you're able, please rise for the closing prayer, Song of Hope. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison, circle for release. Circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, please join along. Circle round for freedom, for peace. Circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, for all of us imprisoned, for release. Circle for release, for the planet. Circle for the planet, soul. Circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. I have here a shofar, a ram's horn, in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25. The ram's horn is sounded, declaring liberty to all the inhabitants of the land. And so I'd like to proclaim this freedom, this hopeful sound for all of us as we move forward to continue to work for King's dream and our dream.